So here we are, this is the second of the Blood Roses scenarios. This is Blore Heath. Again, these are all small maps. A few more pieces on the board this time. I hope it's a little bit more interesting because what we've got is a situation where the Duke of York's forces have gotten kind of separated out, and we got Salisbury leading the Yorkists. In this particular battle, York himself isn't present, and his brother Thomas, I think they're brothers. He's got another brother here too. He's in the Nevilles, commanding the bowmen out front. However, we've got the Lancastrians showing up with lots and lots of knights, and because we're attacking with the Lancastrians, a bunch of them are mounted, get dismounted as well. There's dismounted knights here, but whatever. Some bowmen holding really a defensive line where I've thrown the flags, and then dismounted knights and infantry, dismounted men at arms, and infantry as a follow-up force. He's got a big numerical advantage for the Lancastrians. We've got some toys here. Well, first of all, the flight levels are set. Let's see. Yeah, it's kind of hard because the counter's here, but you got to kind of look. No, it's in the game. It's in the rules. But like Blore Heath, the Lancastrians are there at 27, and I don't see the Yorkists. There they are at 22. So they have, less losses that they're allowed to take. There's some terrain factors in play here that we should talk about. The Lancastrians are going to have first activation. Some restrictions. I believe Lancaster is not allowed to do an army movement. Oh, this is going to be another timed battle. 12 turns this time, or 12 passes by York. It's actually possible that York will get a few passes off because Lancaster has some ground to cover and the Yorkists are in a good defensive position. They suggest not having the Yorkists use the pursuit rule, which is probably to their advantage. Pursuit allows a wing to go running away. Basically, it allows a victorious wing to go running away after its enemy. There's very little likelihood that the Yorkists in a defensive position would be charging after. There might be a situation where you could say, yeah, we do that. We'll take a look at the terrain in a moment. This brook up here in the woods turns into a stream a little towards the edge there, probably an easier place to cross, but of course Lancastrians are set up incorrectly. We'll look to see whether brook or stream is better. So here's something interesting. York has built, or Neville has built a trench behind his line, and that sounds like a damn fool thing to do. But the reason behind it is you don't want cavalries to come sliding around from behind. So that's going to provide a strong disincentive to that happening, or any kind of outflanking. However, it also kind of limits situation if the Yorkist forces have to retreat. They might get stuck in the trenches, they might get pushed back into them, so there's potential for a lot of trouble for them. And those are going to disorder you, I think, as you cross them. I don't remember. It's pretty nasty. You can't attack out of them except at the ends. It's expensive to move in and out of them, I think. We'll see. We'll see how it's listed. Salisbury also has taken his wagons and used a defensive setup around there. Horsemen can't charge through that, so it kind of provides another anchor. They can't charge into it either. And if you're actually on one of these wagon counters, if you end your move on one of them, you get disordered. So actually attacking, that's really difficult. And some archers and infantry to hold that flank there, and then of course the other flank is anchored in the woods, and we got the streams in front of us. The fanciest of things, it's a bunch of caltrops here. Now the caltrops might be real or less than real. These remain hidden if a Yorkist unit moves over them. The Yorkist unit pays an extra movement point to cross it, and they're safe. If they don't want to pay that extra movement point, and it's a dummy one, they can remove it from play rather than pay that. And then, the surprise factor's gone because they've charged through it or whatever. For the Lancastrians, though, if they move through it, they have to have an extra movement point to try. They flip it over, they pay that extra movement point if it's real, and in addition, it stays there for the rest of the game. And if it's a mounted unit going into it, it makes a disordered check. And on a 4 or higher, it's disordered. You can't charge out of or through a hex with a caltrop marker in it. So you got to kind of explore them before you can do that. Again, there's a balance issue here where they give something with a different possible setup for the Lancastrians. And again, this is, there's not a lot of information on these, battles. So the options may be kind of more historical interpretations than anything else. They suggest that the balance in this already, even though the Lancastrians have a lot of troops, is probably slightly in the Yorkist favor, just because of all the toys. Now, draws, we've got seizure draws, 2 for Lancaster, 4 for York. Let's take a look at that terrain. See what we're looking at. Again, the decision to print these all on a fold out means that the terrain, here I've got terrain here because if I folded it in, it would be more difficult to reach. You can get at everything except this center panel fairly easily, but this means now I'm covering up these charts. Last time other charts were covered. I really don't like the fold out choice. I don't see where that's particularly advantageous. Okay, so what's interesting on the terrain? Let's take a look. The brook or the bridge seem to have the same effect. And +2 and a disorder for movement across, +1 for foot, and some combat effects. The stream is a little bit weaker, only hurts the mounted units. The woods, expensive to move through. They don't disorder, strangely enough. Some good defensive benefits. And you can see I've thrown one of my standards into the woods. The other one for the archers, less so, for various reasons. I can't risk losing my main standard by putting it out at the edge, but it's advantageous not to have it stuck in the woods, so I can at least, if any archers get retired, I can move them around. But we didn't see any retirement in the last game, so. The hedgerow here, big movement point cost, and a missile fire penalty, but again, I believe the hedgerow rules say the archers will be standing on the other side of the hedgerow or something like that. Which maybe that's hedgerow hexes. We'll have to look that up. I don't suspect that the Yorkists are going to be charging that hedgerow. Whether or not the Lancastrians ever get their act out of there is a good question. Fighting without archers is kind of a bad idea, but You only have so many activations. You got to move your forces. I think that's about it. Probably going to have a little bit of extra effort because of dealing with the mounted charges and such novels. Remember, we use a different combat table when we're charging, and only mounted units can charge. We don't have to worry about well, we do have to worry about counter charges against adjacent units, and we can provide a penalty or whatever. So if mounted knights are getting, or mounted men at arms are getting charged, or getting shock attacked or fired at, they have a chance to react. I guess that's about it. So to start things off, Audley pushes his cavalry forward. He loses the continuation, and honestly, I see nothing for York to do, so we'll just pass. If we get enough of these, we win, right? I don't think it's going to happen, but we really don't want to do much. We're in our defensive position. Once they cross the river and are disordered, do we really want to come in front of our caltrops? I don't know. It's cross, and after the pass, we again lose our continuation. Not allowed to seize an opportunity on a fray. Let me just see what these guys have. A treachery, that's not terribly useful. Not a whole hell of a lot in either case. Okay. I mean, the counters are not hugely powerful. Just looking, it's a nice mix in both of them. The Into the Breach in both cases that allows a rally where we wouldn't have one otherwise. Seizure negation could be useful. A good seizing opportunity. Treachery, I can disorder something just before I hit it. Okay, so I'm going to actually activate the archers and fire them off. And here I'm at range 3, which is a 0, +1 for the longbow. This is mounted, so I've actually got a pretty good shot at them. +2, longbow firing at mounted. This was a big question. Did you want to dismount everything? 9, that's an elimination on this unit. And this is... Alright, now we got the problem. It's a mounted man-at-arms from... Okay, we got to look at our colors. Not the pink, the tanner color. That's this. But we also have to figure out how much that's worth. And that's unfortunately over in this book. Again, there's no... I hate doing this. An eliminated man-at-arms is worth 3. And that's 3 of these. Those are going to accumulate pretty quick if I've got the men-at-arms getting wiped out. Okay. That's 1. He's done. This guy, I'm going to move him forward. Range 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 is at -1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll shoot that guy. This is at even against a disordered unit. I was hoping to get a rally. I probably got too close. 6, that's going to be a retire. Now, for retires... we get this marker. He goes back down here. We'll put him as close as we can. That's 2 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's going to be -1. 6 kind of sucks at -2. So this is again even on a disordered horseman. Here we get a 1, that's no effect. Now none of the others are able to shoot right away, but I'm going to move the rest of my archers up, just because they're so effective against the horsemen that any kind of attack here I'm going to be able to get some shots off with. Now, here's the problem. I don't terribly want to do anything else, but I have to roll because otherwise I won't be able to get another shot with him. So we'll try that. I need a 5 to get Salisbury active. I do not get it, so the initiative passes back here, and it's time to rally. Failed activation over here after the rallying. Everything just rallies. It's fine that it's in range of the archers, unless there's a misprint, but I think it's a clarification that says that they may rally in range of archers, rather than a misprint. We're assuming the system's pretty solid at this point. So now, there's a few interesting questions. Well, first one is a couple of things that I didn't mark. When this guy got retired, that counts as another unit for battle flight, and which can be recovered, and it counts as a point, which again can be recovered towards the army reaching its demoralization level. Okay, so the hard part here is whether I want to fire the archers or do this. I don't think I can win this way, but I don't know. If the infantry is trying to march up, it's not very likely that the Yorkists are going to get initiative very often, so, get a continuation very often. You got a 40% chance. And they've been failing. Not that that matters, but the alternative is some long-range fire, -1, +1 for being mounted, facing longbows, with 3 units, trying to pick off a unit. Now, once I get if I can get a disorder, it's worth it. So I'm going to keep, because then I can keep plinking it. So I'm going to take a shot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's at -1. I can actually take the shot at -2 up here. Why don't we do that? So that actually works out to a -1. We don't get that. The second unit is at even. That also is not successful. The third unit is at even, and we're regretting it now. Not successful. And the fourth unit, well, maybe we can disrupt it. The others I don't want to move. Hey, we get a disruption. Great. At this point, we'd love to be able to pass and get rid of that, but we can't do that, so we roll for initiative over on guys who don't want to do anything. They get it. That gets me 1 continuation. Now I can try again here. Now, I don't want to lose another knight particularly, but I'm not really sure that trying to seize at this point is a good move. So I will let them make their roll on a 0 through 2. They get it. This is bad. I can't play the Into the Breach at this point. I would have had to have initiative to do that. So now the archers get another set of shots, and we'll do the -2 here, but that ends up as 0 because that guy's disordered. Gets a 4. That's another retire. And I'll plink the other shots off, but I don't want to do them all on camera. With another elimination over here and another retired, we got problems. I'm going to trigger the banner, which rallies these two. I can only do it with a free activation. Now those two get me 2 points back and 2 of these back. That's important because he was at 1. He loses 1 more unit and his battle would flee. That's bad. Okay, now I got to keep in mind the 27 here. If that gets hit, if I get close to that, I have to start rolling a die. And close to that is really 18 or higher because you add a die roll to the amount. We didn't have that in the last scenario, but that was a special roll of the last scenario. I can't have the Cav just do things on their own, I don't think. But on the other hand, I can't really afford to leave them where they are. So I'm going to kind of withdraw them, actually. And we had a leader loss check on him. He failed to die. And now we go for a continuation down here. Oh, no, there was a continuation here because I did a banner. I succeeded in it, which is good. And now I go for a second continuation over here. Now this one's at -1. And I don't want to try to grab the, I don't want to do a seizure here because I can't even pass on a seizure. We don't get it on this next one. Activation goes here. These are out of range. I don't really want to go running out after them, so I'll pass the activation back, and we'll get started moving the infantry. Just have passed a couple of times. The infantry's moved up to the creek, or to the brook. Haven't been activating these very often, but once to recover the units. I'm actually planning on using them as a follow-up, which sucks by the setup, but I just don't trust their ability to bust through those archers. So the archers are going to have to do their own thing and kind of figure out where to hide, I think. However, we're not in threat right now, so I think we pass again. If Lancaster is going to delay game, if Lancaster is going to delay game, it seems like a reasonable thing. I probably have played about as much as I want to in this little sitting, so I'll go record play, and maybe we'll get this finished by the end of tomorrow. Lancastrian forces begin crossing the river, and the horsemen move forward a little bit. The main reason for that is to get these guys who are out of command to try to rejoin their battle. I would probably prefer to bring the longbowmen up, but it was a continuation roll. I'd rather take the chance of actually getting an activation here so that I could have gotten an activation here. And actually, this might have been a good time for the Yorkists to trump in, but they chose not to. Because now the Trumpists are going to get to shoot at disorganized forces, which is just a good thing. The cost is actually pretty high. Look at the holes there. 1 unit eliminated, and a couple retired. Point total getting up there. Losses to that particular, the retireds can recover, and I should put them with their correct organizational flag. But yeah, it's, and then there's the caltrop line that has to be gone through, and then I get shot after that too, probably. Ordered infantry units were shot out, but the Lancastrians have managed to get a couple of free activations where we triggered to Dudley here, and he has rallied and is now in position to make the march onto the caltrops. Those archers may want to fall back a space. The caltrops cost about 1 extra movement point, so this is 1, 2. I don't know. Maybe we want to fire at range 1. Yeah, we're longbows. We want to fire at range 2. We're fine. So we actually probably want to fall back a space, and take what we can. And I'm using these guys as kind of minesweepers to clear the caltrops out, at least the fake ones, so that the cav doesn't have to deal with it. The other option was dismount my cav and just march in, and I could have gotten, a larger line hitting at once, but it can't be coordinated, so that kind of sucks. Right, just continue their fire. They pick off one disordered infantry that was back somewhere, not this guy, but someone else who was on the line or near the line. This guy got pushed back. He got double plinked. There was another one in here that got, or no, back here that got shot out. Not a major effect, although we are getting close to this, so we may want to do a flag action to recover those retired units. Just because this is our main battle. If it flees, we're in a lot of trouble. And that's one of the, I kind of like the flow that this is showing where, yeah, we can't keep pressing on. We got to recover something back here. And then I got one continuation and actually pushed forward some of these infantry and men-at-arms with the idea of, well, look, if he's coming this way, I kind of want to get a flank hit on him, and the caltrops aren't really helping me. The cav is way back here. It's what the caltrops are really there for. I can afford to come out, from my entrenched line a little bit. Hey, well, an important lesson was learned. I moved my archers up. I know I was intending to do this, and this would have resolved some of the problem, but I decided, we can't have them lagging, and because I wander away, this is what happened. Well, now, the Lancastrians didn't get a momentum, whatever, continuation, and determine this, where you go to another group. So the Yorkists got to go again. They fired their bows, and wow, they were blowing big holes in Dudley's forces. Well, big enough that we're one away from the battle retiring. And we're making a lot of range here, which means we just hit a point where there's a potential for the game to end, actually, because we just got to, we didn't have this before, but we just got to this continuation phase now. Somewhere, oh shit. Somewhere, there's a time when you stop and check to see, hey, did I just lose? And that's not, maybe it's here. All right, interesting enough, it's not in the sequence of play. I know it's in the rules. I gotta hunt it down and find it. When you make that check, I know it's gotta be between, it's gotta be on like free activations or something. It's not quite where I thought it would be. It's actually here in the continuation phase, apparently after a free activation is completed, i.e., you might have more activations coming if you get the continuations. That's when you check. Not at all when I would think you would do it, but whatever. So, the Lancastrians get a chance with their free activation. They can activate this and maybe reduce that value a little bit. That's probably the best thing they can do because that actually contains some points to them. So we'll do and it's important that it happens here because otherwise you wouldn't get that opportunity to rally right beforehand. But it is a little strange. So that was 3 of these come back, 1, 2, 3, which is really probably the bigger thing, and we get 3 of these back. Now we're at 16, which means we'd need an 11 to collapse entirely, so that's not going to happen. But now I'm going to try to have him go, and you know what? The Yorkists might want to seize this opportunity because, I'm not going to be able to shoot enough out, am I? I don't know. I mean, if I shoot them up and up, they may fall back and try to reorganize or something. And my chance of seizing the opportunity is pretty good, but his chance of failing is pretty good too. So we'll just let him roll and see if he gets a continuation. He does not, which means we get to do our shots anyway. Now the Lancastrians have just gotten shot up some more, because we couldn't do these guys, right? We had to do the banner, and we're back down to 2 here, and that's getting up there. It's the Yorkists' turn. They're going to try to activate this, but does Lancaster want to try to seize the opportunity? Honestly, it actually really doesn't matter because we've got a seizure negation here. But what would have to happen here is a 50-50 chance for this, and this would have to succeed on a 30% chance. I think I can wait. So I'm going to let the Yorkists roll, and they fail. So we're back here in another free activation. The problem with this is we get a free activation, which means at the end of it we have to make a check. And right now, on a 9, we would actually lose the game. And Lancastrians, I rallied these guys, but this guy's in the process of rallying, are charging forward. Now the problem with this is, hey, we get shot. We disorder moving into the wagon logger. But you know, I feel like we have to try to take something. We have to get lucky everywhere pretty much at this point. So we're disordered. Range 1, those are regular infantry, so that's at like +2 on the disordered table. Yeah, that's pretty likely to get screwed. 4, it retires, and you know, we can send more waves in, but this is the reaction fire cutting us apart. That we're down to 1 here, so we can't afford to take more chances. I launched some of these dismounted men forward, but the rest, not really. You know, I could have slipped into here or something, but then these archers would have both gotten shots at it in a disorganized status, so it would have just get vaporized. So I'm hitting this in melee now. The melee, the matrix gives us, I think, a +2. If I flip around and find it, disorganized, or I'm sorry, dismounted men versus archers is +2. That makes up for the fact that he's disorganized and attacking. And that's really about all there is. It's at a 0 on the attack. And now I gotta find, yeah, unfolding these things is a pain in the ass. Now I gotta find the shock table. This is not a charge. The defender is normal. We get a 7, disordered or retreat. Well, I don't particularly want to stand where I am. I believe this advance does not generate fire. I know if it's a continuing attack, it doesn't. But I think only movement and charges generate it. So, that was not the continuation yet. So now, where do we want to go for a continuation? Yeah, that's a pretty good question. Oh, I've got one more other fight here before I get to the continuation possibility. So that's infantry hitting infantry in the flank. That's kind of cool. Too bad I didn't turn. Well, we know what infantry versus infantry is. It's going to be a 0. The flank attack is +2, which makes up for the -2 for the disorganized. So we're also on the 0 table. And disordered or retreat. This is painful. I believe if we end a retreat in that stuff, we end up disordered anyway, so we'll take that. Not good. And we can't rally while we're next to the enemy. We can start a rally, but we have to be able to drive the enemy away, and there's no guarantee. Of course, the archers could drive them away, but whatever. That would be separate turns. So now, do we get a continuation? Well, here's the thing. If we go with the guys we really would like to try to continue with, they're not going to be able, they're less likely to move. But if we, and this will likely vaporize before anything gets done. If we go over here to the mounted men, what the hell can they do? I'm going to go with the archers because, again, I don't think that Lancaster has a chance right now. And we get the roll that would have worked otherwise. There's nothing we can do about it. Okay, so that puts us back at the Yorkists, and I think this game is pretty damn close to over because they get to shoot, and then I believe, just like there was a chance to rally, well, there's a chance he loses as well because both sides have to check for loss after a free activation. Okay, we just had a shot here that resulted in a retire. Just a point there and a point there. Now, when does the command check? I think it's the battle retreat. I think it's, yeah, it's at the end of an activation. So I get to do the rest of my shots. But that unit is coming, what's his name? Dudley. He's coming off the board. And basically he's out of play. There's no pursuit in this scenario. So for the Yorkists, they can't pursue. So yeah, we knocked out most of their force. Now we can still shoot up some of what's here, and we may have enough shots, to cause more damage here. I believe the units that were retired remain as damage of retired units. I'll have to look that up. I don't think they come back as points because they ran away. That would seem rather odd. Person that all retired units are eliminated. Now, these are not. These two are retired. One of them's a man-at-arms, which means I owe 2 more points. And now this entire command comes off the board. And before I do that, I'm going to roll the end of that free activation, because on a 5 or more, the game's over. And it is. So York won, barely fought, right? I mean, the approach just wiped us out. Feels almost, like an Agincourt type situation where you just never get to the enemy. Obviously, the approach that I took was not the right one for the Lancastrians, if there is a right one. I'd be tempted next time to try to do maybe a march across the field. If the caltrops are set up this way, march across the field and try to cross here at the stream or something. But, it all depends on what happens too, because the way I moved meant the archers gathered up behind a defensive structure, the caltrops. But the thing was, the caltrops can be in many different places, okay? They're not fixed. So given the setup that I had, I went against their strength, and I think you can't do that. I think the danger, though, is if you go for some kind of big outflank, it's not that hard for the Yorkists to keep passing. I made 4 passes and was pressed pretty quick, about as quickly as you can get. It would take a couple more turns to get down to the, to get around this side or something. So that might put some pressure, but I think basically you can't go with the frontal assault against the defensive situation. You have to play around. And with the anchor here, with the caltrops set up the way I had them, this was a terrible place to attack, it turned out. But, live and learn, right? Or, as in the case of the Lancastrians, die and learn. All right, let's send this one up. Blore Heath.